In this video, I'm going to tell you why net worth is the only thing that really matters. No joke here. I'm John from Bulldog Mindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence. That's what we're going to be talking about today. How to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to the Bulldog mindset. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, make sure you click that subscribe button and join us on this quest. Okay, I had recently a coaching client of mine. I wanted to become financially independent. Okay, and they wanted my help to do this. And they're interested, they had some goals of maybe like creating a business, which is great, and doing some real estate investing. This person asked me a question, which I thought was pretty relevant, saying, well, okay, I've seen a lot of your videos. I've seen you talk about, real estate and cash flow. If you have real estate assets, okay, or if you have a business, how do you convert that into cash flow? Especially when you are investing leverage. If you've heard me talk about real estate, okay, there's a lot of ways to make money in real estate. One of the ways is that you make money from cash flow. So you buy a property, it kicks off cash flow, okay? A second way is that you make money from the principal pay down. Now, what she was asking, she was saying, well, if leverage appreciation is so important, when you're leveraged and you're leveraging a property, you're not really making money from cash flow. So how can you become financially independent? How can you have passive income if you don't have cash flow from that? Since it seems like the best strategy is to minimize the cash flow and to actually maximize the leverage so that you get that leverage appreciation where you make the real money. The answer to that is why I'm telling you that net worth is all that matters. What you can do at any time is you can convert money into cash flow. Let's say that I have $3 million, okay? If I have a net worth of $3 million, right now, I might be leveraged, and it's great if I am leveraged, right? Maybe of that $3 million worth of net worth, maybe I'm putting it to maximum usage for myself. Within that $15 million worth of real estate, I have $3 million of net worth, right? That's what I would get if I sold it all. In that particular situation, I'd be gaining a lot of money from that leverage appreciation, but my cash flow might be zero, or it might be very small. Maybe I'm making a few $1,000s a month in cash flow on this. I'm not, quote, financially independent. I'm not going to live off of that cash flow. But you see, what I could do at any time is I could sell off those assets, the $15 million worth of real estate. I could take the $3 million, and now I could do what I want with it, right? I can always trade that net worth or that money for cash flow. I could take the $3 million and I could put it into, let's say, a blue chip dividend yielding stock that had a dividend of 5%. You want to buy municipal bonds? You could do that, okay? You want to buy treasury bill tips and get, about 2%. That's tax-free and inflation adjusted. You could do that. But my whole point is that you could take that money and you can convert it to cash flow. All right. You could even buy real estate with it. For example, if we ran the math here, let's say you had $3 million and you could get a 5% return somewhere, right? And like I said, you could do this in a variety of different places. How much are you making per year? Well, it's $150,000. So what you want to think about is when you're trying to build wealth, when you're trying to become rich, when you're trying to become financially independent, you want to think about essentially increasing your net worth as much as possible, knowing that at any time you can convert that net worth into cash flow if you need it. If you're young, if you're kind of early in your wealth building phase, one thing that you really might want to do is to buy a bunch of real estate highly levered. Highly leveraged appreciation is going to get you the increase in net worth as quickly as possible. At the same time, if you're starting a business and you're making a lot of money from that business, you're again increasing your net worth, and you can put that into real estate where you get a nice return and it gets leveraged. Let's say that you're doing this for, let's say 15 years of your life. Okay, you're just taking all the money you're making, right? And I did this for a long time. For 15 years, you could do that and you could accumulate. It's pretty conceivable that most of you, if you do things right, that you could accumulate, let's say, $2 or $3 million. Then at the end of that 15-year period, if you needed that money, if you needed that cash flow, let's say you want to retire now, you can now take that money, that net worth, and you can convert it into cash flow. Or maybe you want to convert half of it. And an ideal scenario for a lot of people, which is kind of the scenario that I'm in, like an advanced stage, is that you have a certain amount that you are creating cash flow out of, right? You have a certain amount of your net worth that you're using to create cash flow so that you can live. right? So that you can have passive income, pays all your bills, so you don't have to work for anyone else. And then all the other income that you make, you put into leveraged assets. You put it into real estate so that you can increase that net worth. You can play this game however you want, but ultimately it's sort of like what you're really thinking of is that you play the net worth building game for as long as you want, and then at some point you get to cash out and have the cash flow and have the passive income. When I'm coaching people, one of the big questions I ask them in one of my first coaching calls, if you do coaching with me, you'll see this, is I ask them, what do you want? What do you want out of your life? What is most important? Some people that I coach, they say, hey, John, you know what? The most important thing for me is I just don't want to work for anyone else. I don't care about being like super rich. I just want to have passive income so I can quit my job and I can do what I want. Maybe I want to be an artist, or maybe I want to make games, and I just don't care. I just want to be free out of the rat race as soon as possible. And so for them, what I advise them is I help them to build up their net worth, okay, through leverage real estate and through business, so they get to the point where we have enough net worth where we can now convert that to cash flow, and maybe it's going to only take like 5 or 10 years, and they can take that net worth, and it's going to be a smaller amount, and they can convert that over to cash flow so that they're making maybe like $5,000 a month of cash flow. That's plenty for them to live off of, and they're happy. And once they've converted over to cash flow, they're not going to get the value of the leverage appreciation. They're going to get some standard appreciation. They're still going to have their net worth go up, but it's going to go up a lot slower. Whereas I might have someone else who says, John, I really want to retire, but I don't care. It could be like 20, 25 years. I'm planning on working my ass off, and I want to, I want to have a fucking yacht someday. I want to like have serious passive income. I want to have serious cash flow. I want to really build up that net worth, and I really want to shoot for the stars. For someone like that, what I help them do is the similar starting strategy. But we want to leverage, and we want to stay leveraged as long as possible. Maybe we're looking like 15, 20 years into the future, or maybe even longer than that, so they can build up their net worth to an extreme amount, and then if they want to take it off the table and stop playing the game and want to cash out, now maybe they can cash out with something like 10 or 15 or 20K a month of passive income, or even more. My businesses generate me between $500,000 to $1 million a year, okay, depending on the year and what I'm doing within that business, and that grows over time. But even if you have a business that's generating you a couple of $100,000 a year, maybe even a side business that you start up and you're working your regular job, right? Or you do really well and you command a high salary with your job, you can be taking all that money and you can be putting it into real estate to be leveraged to make that net worth grow. I know this is kind of complex, okay? I know that this is not the simplest thing to understand. What matters is your net worth, okay? Because you can always convert net worth into cash flow. You can leverage it, you can invest it, but you can convert it into cash flow. And so when we think about the things that we want to do, you got to think in those terms. Don't think about, I should buy some property, I should start a business, I should invest, or all those things. It's all for one purpose, which is to increase the net worth. Because if you give me a large amount of net worth, I can give you cash flow. Better asset classes to get cash flow, and there's pros and cons to those things, right? I'll be totally honest with you. Getting cash flow from real estate is not as easy as getting cash flow from tips, but your yield is small, right? You're only gonna get like 2%, 2.5%. I don't even know what they're going for now because I don't look at that asset class. Municipal bonds, tax-free municipal bonds might be another option. I know MJ DeMarco, a friend of mine, he has chosen to basically get his cash flow from municipal bonds, tax-free municipal bonds, and he does well on that. If you want to find out more about this, is the Bulldog Mindset membership. Within there, I do have extensive plans and talk about a lot of these concepts and teach you how to invest in real estate at a basic level, but what you need to know and the financial concepts that you need to know in order to build a business, how to get that started, and how to start generating income from that business. With real estate, if you're doing it right, you can make a 15 to 25% return pretty dang easy with a very low or very limited risk, okay? And like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I've had many properties. I've sold and bought properties, and I've been buying and holding for quite some time. Don't forget to take that Bulldog quiz if you haven't. And of course, subscribe. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.